Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to be here with you today to talk about one of the most fascinating and profound philosophies in the world, Buddhism. As you might know, Buddhism is a way of life that originated in India over 2,500 years ago and has since spread across the globe, touching the hearts and minds of millions of people. At its core, Buddhism is a philosophy that emphasizes nonviolence, compassion, and mindfulness. Buddhists believe that the ultimate goal of human life is to achieve enlightenment, which is a state of perfect wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. However, enlightenment is not something that can be attained overnight, but rather it is a gradual process that involves self-reflection, meditation, and the cultivation of positive qualities such as kindness, generosity, and patience. One of the most fundamental concepts in Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths. These truths describe the nature of human suffering, its causes, and the path to liberation from suffering. The Four Noble Truths are considered the cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy, and they offer a comprehensive explanation of the nature of human suffering, its causes, and the path to liberation. Let's explore each of these truths in more detail, along with some examples and personal anecdotes of how to put them into practice in our daily lives. The first noble truth is that life is full of suffering, or dukkha. This truth may sound pessimistic at first, but it is not meant to be a depressing statement about the state of the world. Rather, it is a recognition that we all experience suffering in various forms throughout our lives, whether it be physical pain, emotional distress, or existential angst. I remember a time when I was going through a difficult period in my life. I was struggling with anxiety and depression, and it felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. It was only when I acknowledged and accepted the fact that I was fearing that I was able to take the first step towards healing. The second noble truth is that suffering is caused by craving or attachment, which leads to dissatisfaction and ultimately to suffering. This truth is based on the understanding that we are constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, and that this desire for more and more can never be fully satisfied. This attachment to our desires and expectations is what causes us to experience suffering. I used to be a chronic people pleaser, always seeking validation and approval from others. It wasn't until I realized that this craving for acceptance was causing me more pain than pleasure that I was able to let go of this attachment and focus on my own values and priorities. The third noble truth is that there is a way to end suffering, and that way is through the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path consists of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These elements are not meant to be followed in a strict linear order but rather as a holistic approach to spiritual development and personal growth. I have found that practicing mindfulness meditation has been an effective way to cultivate a deeper understanding of my thoughts and emotions and to develop more compassionate and non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. By focusing on the present moment and letting go of distractions, I have been able to let go of the past and the future and find peace in the present. The fourth noble truth is that anyone can follow the Eightfold Path and achieve liberation from suffering, regardless of their social status, race, or gender. This truth is based on the belief that enlightenment is a state that can be attained by anyone who is willing to put in the effort and follow the path. It is not reserved for a select few but rather open to all who seek it. I have found that practicing the Eightfold Path is not a quick fix or a one-time solution but rather a lifelong journey of self-discovery and personal growth. By embracing the principles of the Eightfold Path and putting them into practice in my daily life, I have been able to cultivate a deeper sense of peace, happiness, and well-being. The Four Noble Truths offer a comprehensive framework for understanding the nature of suffering and the path to liberation. By acknowledging the reality of our suffering, letting go of our attachments and cravings, following the Eightfold Path, and embracing the possibility of enlightenment, we can transform our lives and find true peace and happiness. Another important concept in Buddhism is karma, which means action or cause and effect. Buddhists believe that every action, thought, and word we utter has consequences, both in this life and in future lives. Therefore, it is essential to cultivate positive actions and intentions that lead to positive outcomes, and to avoid negative actions and intentions that lead to negative outcomes. Buddhists also believe in the impermanence of all things, including ourselves. Nothing lasts forever, and everything is in a constant state of flux. Therefore, clinging to things or people is ultimately futile and will lead to suffering. Instead, Buddhists encourage us to practice non-attachment and to appreciate the present moment as it is, without judgment or preconceptions. In conclusion, Buddhism is a philosophy that offers a unique perspective on the human condition and provides practical tools for achieving inner peace and happiness. By cultivating mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, we can transform our lives and the world around us. I hope this speech has given you a glimpse into the basics of Buddhist philosophy, and I encourage you to explore it further and see how it can enrich your life.